This lesson is solve system of equation with two variable by elimination, part 2. Again, with elimination, follow the rule, same value, opposite sign. Okay, so here we have an example. As you notice, this is a 7, this is a 6. They are not the same. So this is what we're going to have to do. So the first thing we need to do is rewrite the problem again, rewrite the two equation again, and to make them the same, we are going to borrow the top number, which is 7, and put it in the bottom. And then we borrow the 6 and put it on top. One more time, to make them the same, to make the value the same, we're gonna borrow from each other. Borrow the 7 and put it in the second equation. Borrow the 6 and put it in the first equation. One more time, borrow the 7, put it in the second equation. Borrow the 6, put it in the first equation. Next, we need them to be opposite. So when it becomes opposite, always add extra negative. One more time, to be opposite, add an extra negative in. Now it doesn't matter if you put the top negative or the bottom negative. It doesn't matter, it will come out the same answer. So again, borrow the 7, put it in the second equation. Borrow the 6, put it in the first equation. That is the only way that you will have same value. Next, we want opposite sign, so put an extra negative in. To get opposite sign, always put the negative in. Put an extra negative in. One more time, put an extra negative in. It doesn't matter if you put the extra negative in the first equation or the second equation. It will come out the same answer. So the next step is just distribute the whole thing out. So -6, -7, positive 42, -6, -3, positive 18, -6, -12 gives me -72. Do the same thing with the bottom. 7 times -6 is -42. 7 times -5, -35. 7 times 20 gives me 140. Okay? And as you can see, again, now if you look carefully, now the number are the same and they are opposite of each other. Okay? So one more time, to cancel something, they must have the same number and opposite sign. Okay? And the only way for them to be the same, you need to borrow the top, this 7, borrow the 7, put it in the first equation, the second equation. Borrow the 6 and put it in the first equation. Okay, so borrow the 7, put it down, borrow the 6, put it on top. And to get the opposite sign, you must have an extra negative. When you put an extra negative, it doesn't matter if you put it in the first equation or the second equation. Okay, and then after that, multiply it out or distribute. And once you distribute everything out, yes, and look at it again, make sure that they are the same number and opposite. So 42, 42, they are the same. One is positive, one is negative. So this 42x right here, go away. This 42x, go away. And then 18 subtract 35 gives me -17. -72 subtract 140 gives me positive 68. Divide by -17 to both sides. Y is -4. Okay. Once you have y, go back and get your x value. Okay. Once you have y, go back and get your x. Now I'm going to do both equations so that you can see that it comes out the same answer. Okay. So let's do the first equation. So this is the first equation. Replace the y with the -4. So then -3 times -4 gives me positive 12. Subtract 12 over, get 0. Divide by -7 to both sides. X is 0. So my answer is 0, -4. Again, x first and then y. So that is the first equation. Now let's do the second equation to see if they have the same answer. So put y in, that gives me -4. -5, -4 gives me positive 20. Subtract 20 both sides gives me 0. Divide by -6 also gives me 0. So as you can see, It doesn't matter if you do the first equation or the second equation, the answer will be the same. Okay, so be very careful what happened when they are not the same. One more time, if they are not the same, you are going to borrow from each other. Okay, so take the 7, put it down, take the 6, put it on top. That's the only way to get the same value. To get opposite, put an extra negative in. It doesn't matter if you put the negative in the first equation or the second equation. Okay,